Welcome back to Advisor Flow, the podcast where we explore the intersection of smart technology, human connection, and business growth. Today's episode dives into a major shift we are seeing across industries, how AI is moving beyond automation and becoming a powerful tool for building customer trust, loyalty, and advocacy. My guest today is someone who is right at the forefront of this shift, Geoff McDonald. Geoff, welcome to the show. It is great
Thank
to
you,
have
and
you here.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay. So let's start by taking a step back and looking at the journey behind Ambassador. Can you give us a quick overview of your journey with Ambassador and what inspired the transition toward AI-driven brand advocacy?
Yeah. So Ambassador, the thought of Ambassador actually started in 2019. So I have always focused a lot of my attention on the space of building technologies for customers, not for clients, not for brands. Because I believe that, with the wave of social media and so forth, that customers or people are choosing brands the same way that they're choosing their friends. So in 2019, when I looked at the bottom of funnel, I saw that when a brand got a customer, it was a broken ecosystem. So referral wasn't talking to loyalty, wasn't talking to reviews or surveys, but there were 3,000 companies doing it, and they all were doing different things. So I called 12 CMO friends of mine that were part of very large companies, and a lot of them said, yeah, it is a broken ecosystem, and I'm losing money every single year because I don't know what customer is doing what. I don't know if we sent the wrong incentive. They aren't redeeming. So it was a fundamental big shift, big problem that was occurring. And I did get validation from that. So I said, well, how do you build a platform like this? And having done this exactly the exact thing at the top of funnel, I said, okay, well, let's do this at the bottom of funnel. So typically you need a data ingestion tool. You need some sort of modeling. And then you need what I call action. It's an output. So those are really the three pillars. Right. So we set out and we focused on building all of those. Now, this was before the big wave of AI. And so you need, in order to build a successful AI company, and Ali, I think you would agree with this because I've seen some of your content out there, is you have to have the data. I think a lot of people are building AI companies today where they're hoping to get the data from AI. No, the best way to build AI and the next wave of AI, which we'll get into, you have to have the data first. So we built the infrastructure to collect the data first. And so that's where now we can morph into the part of our conversation where what does AI look like? But that's why we started Ambassador, was there was a fundamental problem that was occurring, a huge problem. And so we started to build a technology around that.
Wow, that evolution is fascinating, especially in a market where so many companies, they struggle to balance innovation with staying human. So what was your starting point when it comes to laying the foundation? Was it collecting more information from the customers, running pilots? How did it really start then?
So once we started that evolution and we actually built, so let me take a step back, because the problem that we actually needed to figure out and we solved, we understood that there was a broken ecosystem, but through our own experience, because we eat our own dog food, what we recognize is there is one line item on the P&L, which is the most expensive, that most brands today are focused on, and that's marketing and sales. And anytime you want to drive new sales or new net revenue, you have to add more marketing people and you have to add more salespeople. But when you're in a recessive macroeconomic time, the first budgets that get cut are marketing and sales.
And we have seen it in the COVID time.
Exactly. And we're seeing it now with this AI shift that's actually occurring. And so to answer your question, which was, in order to evolve with that transition, you have to have the data. You can't just have a marketing tool that's an agentic AI bot that takes over an SDR phone call, because all it is another voice, a frustrated voice giving it to a customer who's like, I don't even want to talk to a salesperson. Why would I want to talk to a bot? So to answer your question, this is where we started with the foundation of, let's build one product really well. And we got really good at referral. The cornerstone product, because when you actually look at how do I grow net new revenue while reducing a spend like marketing and sales, the best way to do that is decreasing your CAC.
Right.
So when you grab a new customer, how do I leverage that customer where I spent $3,000 on the acquisition to grab more customers?
Right.
That's your net new growth. So we got really, really good at referral. And then clients started asking us, well, now that I have referral, can you help me with net retention? Well, that's loyalty.
Yes.
Can you then help me with gross retention, with upsells, cross sells? And then you start getting into surveys and reviews. Those are the what I call the exhaust or the offset. Okay. So right there, that's where we grew it. And now what we've built into is what I believe is the second wave of AI called orchestration. And we can go into that if you want to kind of wait for that. But orchestration, I believe, is the next thing.
Before we move forward, I would just like to understand, because you're talking about referral and then advocacy. What is the difference between these two terms? Can you explain?
Yeah, definitely. Referral and advocacy. The way I look at it is referral is net new. Advocacy is retain. Right. That's how I think about it. So referral is going to be, I'm going to take an existing customer and I'm going to get them to refer. Advocacy is where you get someone to engage on a more consistent basis, and that's retention. That's where your NRR, your net retention comes in, your gross retention, and so forth. And while they work hand in hand, it's actually two different feature sets that you need to be providing to two different classes of people.
Right. So let's say I go to your website, I use your product, I like it, I become your referral, I start using it on a daily basis, telling it to everybody that, hey, Ambassador is such a good product, you know? So I think there is a very fine line between a referral and an advocate.
I couldn't have said it any better. That was a perfect way of stating how the difference is. Yes.
Right. Okay. So we would like to go a little bit into your product side as well. So you recently launched something called Hiro. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it really well.
Hiro. You did. That's a perfect pronunciation.
Yeah. And it's clear that this isn't just another chatbot. So can you walk us through what Hiro is and why it is different from the typical bots we see on the website?
Yeah. So actually, what's interesting about Hiro is Hiro actually started as a side project. What we wanted to do back in December is we wanted to understand what was the capabilities of this AI movement that was coming without disrupting our existing engineering team on building the current product and the advancements of the product. So what we thought of Hiro as, Hiro is going to become this intelligent layer that's going to be able to listen to a conversation. So it was a phone call. Hiro was just a voice communication technology. And it would call a customer, and based on the customer's communication back and forth, it'd keep the dialogue open, but through voice biomarkers, it would determine if it was a positive or negative sentiment.
Right.
And then based on that, it would actually deliver the next action. So if it's positive, you might get the referral link. It might ask you to get the referral link and so forth. If it was negative, it would say, hey, you know what? We need to get Geoff in front of a customer service rep, or we need to make sure that Geoff has the next step because he wasn't happy. Maybe we need to learn about the product and so forth. So Hiro had the capabilities and the ability to go have that intelligent conversation.
So now, are you saying that it is actually creating a network promoter score?
Yeah, so we don't call it NPS. We actually call it the ambassador score. We're going to kill NPS. That's what I mean. That is what we're going to go take on. But I think what branched off of that in the last 90 days is what we found is agentic AI and voice communication is already what I believe to be commoditized. I mean, OpenAI just came out with their voice communication, right? Everyone's got their voice communication. But what we found is Hiro isn't the voice. Hiro's actually the orchestration engine. So right. When you get the voice, as you were just saying, Ali, when you get the voice and those voice biomarkers come in, Hiro's taking the intelligent and orchestrating it with the other data it has and says, you are a referral. Your score is this. I need to give you an upsell, cross sell. I need to send you a new order form. So Hiro now is becoming the orchestration engine in Ambassador's platform. So that's where what has truly been inspiring and amazing in our company is it was an outside project that was going to be an agentic AI voice communication tool. But what we realized is the voice communication was only as good as the action or the orchestration that our platform did with it.
Right.
That's what Hiro's going to be.
Not only this, I think it should also be able to calculate that whether this XYZ customer, I'm talking from the perspective of telecommunication, is going to churn out or not in few months, right?
And that goes back to your referral advocacy. This is why it's so it goes hand in hand. And I would agree with you. And let me take you to where we're going with Hiro. One day, our client, our stakeholder, let's just call it at one of our telco companies, because telco is one of our top ICPs. Let's call him Jane. Jane is going to log in one day, and Hiro's going to be waiting there on the dashboard. And Hiro's going to say, Jane, I've analyzed your data from yesterday. Here are your 5 campaigns you're running. 2 of them, I recommend an incentive change, and I recommend a copy change. 3 of them, I want you to get rid of, and I'm going to build you 3 more that look like X, Y, and Z. Would you like me to do this for you? Yes. Jane, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll have your data ready to go and your next set of initiatives that you need to have. That's orchestration. That's what we're building, and we're going to be the first company in customer engagement and retention to do this.
That is next level of customer engagement. Let's move on. And it's a general question. What kind of companies can benefit from this AI-powered engagement approach? Is there a minimum audience size or the traffic threshold to get ROI before companies start thinking that, okay, it's a viable tool, let's implement it?
Yeah, there's no real company size. So from us, I'll start with the ICPs where we tend to land the most because it's our focus really is we do telco, fintech, finserv, and SaaS B2B. We are operators first and foremost, even though we're founders and startup people, me and the COO and the other co-founder, we're all operators first. So what we did is we set out to build a healthy company. So, we hold 92% gross margins. We've got a really, really stable business. So when we look at other SaaS companies like the Klavios and the Salesforces and all those, we try to keep the same type of metrics. So, we have, it'd be about 30% of our revenue comes from enterprise, 70% comes from the SMBs. But when you look at the logos, it flips, right? So 70% is going to be your SMBs, 30, because you learn a lot from both of them. Right? You actually want to build a very a fast-paced platform for enterprise people, but the startup people actually want the sophistication of what an enterprise person has. So that kind of hopefully that answers your question. It's kind of the dynamics of both, and those are the groups that we're going after. But there's no real employee size or referral size, because if you have 10 phenomenal referrals, you could be making an extra $50,000 to $100,000 a month. I think what we're finding is in the next wave of the gig economy, which is based on influencers and so forth, which is technically a referral, a lot of them are finding very niche products. And those niche products do start as, I only have 200 people on my website. I have 50 customers that would only refer our product. I think what we find is very interesting is our clients, when they come into the platform, have one view of who their influencers or referrals are, versus after 6 months, they find that it's a typical person like you and me, Ali, who are going to be the biggest referrals inside their ecosystem. They thought a Kim Kardashian or whoever, they're paying all this money to do it. But really, it's me who uses the product regularly, and I just love telling my friends about it to get more. Are you rewarding me? So that's why I was saying it's not really a number of people or a number of revenue or size of company, because everybody can benefit if you just look for the people that are going to be the most influential.
Agreed. So let me ask you, what is your unique value proposition?
Yeah. I think for us, I had stated it a little bit earlier, but I think for us, it's actually going to be the line item marketing and sales. I think if
Right.
you had asked me almost 24, 48 months ago, or 24 months ago or so, it was different. I think right now with AI and the movement of all of it, I think the number one thing that we are the value proposition we're bringing is I had to lay off 90% of my marketing team. I had to lay off another 50% of my sales team. I don't have enough people to run one of the most critical components of our business, which is getting our customers to refer other customers. I think that right there is the core value. And if you can do that well, but the one thing that no other company is doing right now except for Ambassador, you have to orchestrate it. You can't just automate it. Because the thing is the automation that comes into play is great. You can automate an email. Okay, great. You wrote the email using ChatGPT, OpenAI, but it's
Yes.
actually taking my data and the intelligence and knowing to write an email. Or should it be a text message? Or should it be nothing? This is the next wave. And I believe that's what's happening and what we're starting to see. So now going into your question about a specific case study, as I said, we work with FinTech, FinServe, Telco, and so forth. And a lot of our clients, what they keep coming back to us with and why our G2 rating is so high, a lot of them are saying, I can do more with less people using Ambassador. I feel like I have 5 people on my team for my one.
Wow. So that's a big cost reduction, and
Huge. And it's where AI is going, Ali. I mean, as a founder and as an operator, I think one thing that we are always looking at is how much can we get out of the personnel that exist in our business? How can we use AI tools to get more out of those people? Not how do I remove them, but how do I get them to use these tools to get more to move the engine or the ball forward? So we're hearing that from our clients as well in terms of how the value prop for Ambassador is being seen externally.
so you're helping companies to fire people.
Yeah, in a way, actually, and you know what? It is a joke, but it's funny because they actually come to us after they've done the firing. So they didn't think about, oh, we just let these people go. How are we going to do this? A lot of times they come to us and say, we just did it. We need a tool that automates it because we didn't think the 3 people we got rid of actually ran this tool before. So it's kind of that double-edged sword that they're running into. That's right.
Wow. Firing people first and then finding the solution.
Yeah, exactly.
How to improve operational efficiency. Okay,
Yep.
wow, amazing. So, Geoff, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like for Ambassador in terms of growth?
Yeah, right now we're going to get really, really focused on the 3 industries we have because we think that if you actually continue to expand within those with the orchestration tool, I think there's enough here. I think for us to go outside of that, there's enough grass and land grab there. We're going to just own those and we're going to own it really, really well. But that being said, I think 2025 has been a bit of I think a lot of companies will say it's been a bit of a shaky ground with some of the governmental political things that are going on. But I think
Uncertainties.
yeah, exactly. I think you can kind of, if you can get out of this, that's what it is. But, let's talk about it from a company standpoint. As a company, I told our team back in January, we were the typical startup that was raising money and doing all that. And we've have phenomenal investors behind us. But I think it's time now because there is a shift in the investor and VC and capital markets that's occurring underneath our feet, whether we want to see it or not. And for us, we're going cash flow positive. We're going profitable. So the number one goal our entire team is focused on right now is profitability as fast as we can. And that's actually how we're building the orchestration tools in our own platform is we're eating our own dog food. And so this is where if you talk about what our goal is, we want to see the strong revenue growth, which we are seeing phenomenal. Our net retention rate is doing really well. And now for us, it's profitability because there is a new set of business that's going to come out of this where you don't need those VCs as much anymore to get that high growth opportunity because you need fewer employees to do more because of the tools that are out there. So hopefully
Yes.
that gives you a little idea. insight
Yeah,
into what we're trying to do.
I agree because you think of any idea, any concept, the tool is already there. Personally, I think you can build $1 billion company with a single resource.
Yep,
So you're right
I
in
agree.
that sense. Okay, so little bit into your marketing channels as well, because you grow a lot. So what marketing channels are performing best for you? Whether it is Google Ads, SEO, LinkedIn content creation, partnerships, what exactly it is? What is working
Yeah.
and what is not working?
We're fortunate that referral is a strong category, and which is why we made it our cornerstone. So we get really good return on ad spend. It's about a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 return. It's not phenomenal, but it's there. And so we spend most of our money on Google Ads. Now, that being said, in the last 30 to 45 days, I have my own personal brand called Fight to the Finish. It's a podcast that I do and so forth. And it's my personal brand. Well, I've built that up. It's been building quite a bit. I didn't think to do that on the business side. So now what we're doing is we are now building multiple Instagram pages that have Hiro, Ambassador, me as a founder, CEO, and we're interlinking those.
Right.
And we're also doing it on LinkedIn. And what we're finding is it's actually driving more qualified people to our website who are more intrigued by the thought leadership that we have, which then shows how we run our company. So you asked me earlier about what's the special thing about our company. I think that statement that I gave you is, but what I'm finding is people are actually, because of social media, they now can buy from me. I don't have to be on the sales calls. If I'm using social media the right way, they can actually understand me from an authentic standpoint and know who they're buying from, because hopefully that culture has trickled all the way down. So to answer your question, Google was the first one. We've done really well on that. Now we're looking at building more of that authentic kind of organic growth using some of the thought leadership and some of the experiences that we have in social media.
Yeah. So from brand awareness perspective, social media is doing magic for you now. Yeah.
It really is.
And for founders listening today, what's the first step they can take to move towards more human AI supported engagement?
I think for me is, if you're a founder, I think it's really important to kind of have some financial acumen. And I think when you look at your financial statements, I think there will be something in there that will show you where you need to focus your efforts, and don't try and boil the ocean. So if you're going to go and you want to implement AI, whether in your product or within your existing ecosystem, find something that you can tangibly attach it to that either decreases your OpEx or increases your revenue, because those are really the two metrics. An operator, an investor, it doesn't matter. They are always going to look at that. So find the line item in your financial statement that you believe could have the most impact on the shortest amount of time, and go put AI in place with that. Because that's how we built Ambassador. His marketing and sales was our biggest line item.
Right.
And we needed to go fix that. And we did.
Very insightful. I completely agree, Uh, and I know you have answered it, but let me ask you again. What are the biggest mistakes companies are making when trying to automate their marketing? They are putting a lot of effort into the internal workflows and automation of the workflows.
Look, I think the number one mistake, and we fell into that category, was you think because of all the AI tools out there that you could build it yourself.
Right.
As a business, you have to look at the operating expense, because you're only going to get so far, and then you're going to get a reaction from your customers or clients, and it's not going to be pretty, because they're going to be asking you for more because you just introduced a new set of problems to yourself. So I think, to answer your question, go find tools that do it better, faster, and implement those in there, because it doesn't matter the cost that's associated with it. It could be $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month. If you looked at your financial statement and it can offset it 50%, 100%, it's already paid for itself and you don't have to make it part of your solution now. So I think that's where a lot of brands are getting it wrong right now is they're going, oh, I could build that. Oh, that's easy. But all you're doing is you're actually creating more problems. And we did that. And we did that in our marketing and sales efforts. And then what we finally did is we actually said, you know what, let's go to Salesforce and let's make Salesforce our whole ecosystem from marketing all the way through to ticketing. And let's use their AI tools. Best decision we made instead of building all the stuff on our own.
Okay. So you're saying that whatever you do, the tool is already there in the market to support you. You don't need to build it. Anything from the scratch, especially in the AI era. It's already there, right?
Correct.
Okay, so this has been an insightful conversation, Geoff. Before we wrap up, I would love to give you a chance to share how people can interact with you, connect with you, or learn more. For listeners who want to explore Ambassador or follow your work, where should they go? Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You're active.
Looking to build the Instagram following quite a bit. So you can come find us on Instagram. It's at Ambassador HQ for our parent company. And then if you'd actually like to just follow me as well, it's at the Geoff McDonald. So it's just my full name, put the in front of it. And there's a lot of good content. The founder one is more of me sharing more founder things that I've done really poorly. It's the things that I struggled with and the things that I didn't do well. So there's a lot of learnings there. And then the Ambassador one is more centered around some of the things that we are really looking to change in this AI orchestration landscape. But you can always come to the website. You can find me on LinkedIn. I am very responsive. I answer all of our G2 reviews. I answer all my LinkedIns. I answer all my emails. There's no bots involved. So if you ever want to get a hold of me, anybody can, because I still believe there needs to be that human touch because we all need to be working on this together.
So. Agreed. Geoff, thank you again for joining us. You have painted a really exciting picture of what AI can do when it is not just used to automate, but to actually deepen engagement and build long-term brand relationships. For everyone listening, if this episode sparks idea or gave you a new way to think about customer experience, we would love it if you shared it or left a review. That's it for today. I'm Ali Jamal, and this was AdvisorFlow.